All right. So, good morning, everyone. It is October 30th. This is the Hawkeye Trading Room, and we're going to go from about 8 o'clock this morning till about 9:30. What we'll do is I'll go through the disclaimers really quick, and then we'll start tackling the charts. We got a couple alerts that we're going to take a look at, and we'll see how it's going. So, trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you, and before deciding to invest in the foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, your level of experience, your risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts about it. This live trading room is for educational purposes exclusively. No financial advice or recommendations will be provided at any time. Any trade taken during this live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Money that you afford to lose. Before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. So now with our disclaimer out of the way, let's roll. So just a second here. I'm going to open up my charts that don't have all the all these indicators on it. Hold on. Oh, not that one. It's not the right setup. Just a sec here. I'm going to hide this pop-up. Hide floating. There we go. Give me just another second. Live trades. Little charts. Let's do wedges basic. All right. So I'll make sure I blow this up pretty nicely for everyone to be able to see. So this is the multiple moving average. There's a whole bunch of moving averages on here. A couple of them are more important than others. So let's see. This is good. All right. So Ava, you mentioned Euro USD, right?
Euro USD, yep, and the US Swiss.
Cool. So here is where I'm looking at my wedge. I use trend lines to draw my wedges. You can draw them however you wish. There's a couple ways to draw this one. I tend to prefer drawing the really big wedges because it gives more room to play. I'm looking for a bounce before I take this. I need a third bounce on one of these trend lines. So now, alternatively, you could actually draw your wedge right here, depending. That's a little bit of a breach. I'm not such a fan of this line because I don't want that breach. It seems pretty minuscule, but in the long run, let's go see what's happening. We got a cross of 1362 and we got some movement to the upside. So right now, let's check our currency strength, 3-1. Actually, and I don't want to take it inside the wedge, but we're getting ready to potentially take a trade. So it might be Euro USD long. Now, knowing what we know about the wedges, we can do a couple things. I do want to bounce before I'll take it though. But this cross here is pretty indicative. So let's do, we'll was I going to do here? Just a sec. I'm just going to watch something for a sec. See if I can get my charts all up and ready here. You see how the 5 and the 13 crossed, and then you had the 62, the 1 minute 62 crossed at the same time. Now, if we get a gap here, if the 62 and the 13, if these lines start spreading apart, kind of like this, then we're looking at a good, something good. So let me just see here. Oops. So you might get tricked here. We don't want to be too early, right? The whole idea is just to take a really nice trade. But in order to get that really nice trade, sometimes you have to wait a little bit. It's been in some pretty serious consolidation, so I'm not going to be the first one to pull the trigger on this. You see how it came down, and now we have consolidation, and then up here is where we had a high. So now I'm just waiting for some kind of confirmation of the direction of the break. Now, if we wanted to have an idea of where this could go from a target perspective, that's what I was trying to do. I like using the stick. So from the top of the wedge to the bottom of the wedge, kind of somewhere there. From the break, it's going to reach that stick about 75% of the time. So whatever direction it breaks in. So whether it breaks in the top or whether it breaks in the bottom. Now another percentage chance, another odd that'll work in our favor is the fact that 63% of wedges will break in the same direction of the previous trend move. So in this case, we're trending downwards. So there's a 63% chance that it trends to the downside. So it could bounce here at the 1 minute 62. It could actually bounce on the 30 minute 62 right up here. It could do that. Oh, actually I have a trade open in profit. Let's close that.
Oh, profit's always good.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot I didn't, I caught the bottom of that move and I never exited. Anyway, so let's just wait and see. I do like going down to the lower time frame for this one. Oh, that's a 15 minute 62. My bad. This will be really important. So I'm going to highlight this area just for visibility perspective. But this area right here is going to be really important. So whatever happens here is going to be pretty much a deciding factor. So we'll see what goes on. Let's go take a quick look here. We've got, you see how price came and tested the 1 minute 62 right here, and it bounced. So now we've got that little space in between the 62 and whatnot, and then we're probably, as we're waiting, I like to draw trend lines because basically we're trading trend lines. Wedges are just two trend lines that intersect with each other, and there's a high probability that certain things happen on wedges. So we're just slowly waiting to see what's going to happen. Yeah, so Al wasn't able to be here today because he had a unfortunate power outage. He's going through a little bit of a storm right now. And so he gives his regards. Let me see. I lost my Zoom control panel.
Oh, did you?
After I hit it, yeah, I hit it, and then um, all of my meeting controls and my chat and everything just disappeared. So this is really good. This is a great start.
At least it's Friday.
Yeah, yeah, yes, that it is. Let's see if we can get a nice little pullback here, so that we can go up to the top here. That's where I'm looking. I'm looking for that bounce. That bounce is so important. I won't take a trade inside this zone, inside the wedge, because I've been burned too many times trying to do that, and it's not worth it, because from this line to here, we're looking at like 2 pips. So wait for it to bounce or interact with this line, and then you can evaluate if a person wants to take the trade, get in there and swim with the sharks. But you need to have a clean entry. You don't need to take an extra 2 pip loss. And the other side of that is if you enter here as a sell, you get that extra 2 pips. You don't have to sit and draw down. If you enter here, you can have 3 pips of drawdown before it potentially comes down. So a late entry is not always a bad entry. Sometimes it's a more confirmed entry.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we just need to give it a couple pips. It doesn't matter. I have my chat, but I don't have the rest of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
is there something you need that I can help with?
I don't know, because I have to stop the recording eventually. Or else it's just gonna keep on going. This is gonna be nice. All right, while we're waiting for something to happen on this end, I am gonna go do some searching so that I can find a way to fix this mess. So here's why we like to use TradingView. We can add alerts on our lines, so I don't have to sit here and watch it all the time. I can go and figure out what in the world's going on with Zoom. How to unhide Zoom meeting. It's amazing that like 10, 15 years ago, it would take books and manuals to figure out how to do anything, and now you just put it in Google and like
Bang.
the world's your oyster.
Exactly.
Bring back your meeting controls, hit escape. See? Not rocket science. And you know what? Having the right information and knowing where to look for it is such a key in anything in life. And it makes everything a lot easier. Well, welcome to everyone. Al is not here today because he does have he's got a little bit of a storm on his hands. Let's put it that way. So what we're doing here for the people that weren't that just came in, we're doing setup here. We had an AIRIS alert on Euro USD. What I did is I had a connection point. I'm one there and one here, and then I had one here and one there. Basically, I'm just drawing trend lines. I'm looking for a bounce, a third bounce on a trend line, whether it bounces and comes down or whether it bounces and goes up. That's what I'm looking for. So right now, I'm trying to see 14 length, display mode. So anyone that's in this room that does not have access to the RCS tool or the multiple moving averages or the Fibbo price range plotter. Oh, it's such a mouthful. Or any of the other indicators that we use. For the time being, we are providing them completely free to anyone in this room. We ask that you don't share the link with anyone that's not in this room. just to, it's for you because you show up and you participate and you're part of the family. So it's just an advantage to you. So now let's go see what's happening. So we might have a little breakup. Not a literal breakup, but a break to the upside. So let's check out what's going to happen. Try to keep my scale at 5 pips. So just so you have a visual representation of what could be going on. Pedro, good morning. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Ink to go. So Ink to go is a actually really interesting application. It lets me draw everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, it lets me draw wherever I want on my charts on my screen without having to do any kind of fancy lettering, and then I can just quickly erase it. So if I wanted to put a sky blue line here, and I can say that from this line here to this line here is actually 5 pips. So we didn't make it to the top. That's really tiny. Let's erase that. So we are getting a bounce on the, what is that? It looks like a 1 minute 62. Let's see what's happening here. So we're just waiting for the right setup, and we're setting a trap, and we're making things happen. So let's go see 5, 13, and 62. So the 62 on this chart is 3 is white. And because I like it orange.
Have a quick look at the US Swiss, okay?
Yeah, go ahead for sure.
If there's anything good going on there?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like you did really well on the charts.
Oh yeah, yesterday.
This morning, tester day.
Yeah.
That's good.
Great.
All right, so didn't like that bounce.
It appears the Swiss is pretty much doing the same thing. That's
Yeah.
what the Euro is doing. Yeah, it's just coiling up.
So we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. So this is a pretty significant wedge. I mean, that's 20 pips, guys. And it has a 75% chance to go the length of that stick if it breaks out or whatever direction it's going to break out. Because it's going to break out. Bottom line, it's going to break out. I almost like... Oh, I don't really want to do that, but I almost like that, even though I'm breaking a big wick. I'm breaking that big wick, and I don't really... I'm not a fan of that. Because that means I'm breaking price at the lower level, and I can't actually trust this line. So this upper trend line, I'm looking for a nice bounce. So as this moving average, as the 62, 15 minute 62 is up here, looking for some kind of bounce on there. Let me see if I can hide the hull. There we go. Make it a little bit better. And this is the 30 minute 62. That one's coming down. So it could, in fact, come up, tag this. Here is your pips for the day, and then basically done. Let's go take a quick peek at the lower time frames. So see, you're retesting the 1 minute 62. You're retesting the 1 minute 62. That's a pretty strong candle. That's a pretty strong candle. But I'm not going to get tricked by it yet. I need it to, because we know that the target is about 20 pips. So that appears to be like a 4 pip 1 minute candle. We're coming up to the 8:20 hour. So that was a 10-minute and 5-minute candle close. So we got some pretty good movement on there. Right now, the US dollar is stronger on the 1 minute, and it's also stronger on the. It's actually one of the strongest currency pairs right now overall on the 5-minute chart. So, but we'll see what we come up with. With the U.S. election, just set your expectations accordingly. I've seen so many people, oh, the market's so flat and correcting, and guys, there's a huge event going on right now. No one wants to get caught on the wrong side.
Yeah.
So just like it'll start moving again nicely once all this election stuff's over and life gets back to some kind of normalcy. Let's see. This is actually a really nice wedge that formed up here. And you see 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, and then it broke down. So let's see what's going to happen. So you didn't really see anything on US Swiss, right?
No, it's doing the same thing. It's just kind of coiling up, I guess, with the Swiss and the euro. They're quite similar in a lot of ways, I suppose.
Yeah, they are.
So it's just kind of hanging around in the middle at the moment.
Okay. Well,
actually, I've actually drawn a box.
Yeah.
And it's towards the top of the box, but like just past the halfway mark. So it's just there. It's forming another little wedge as well on the 5. So
did you find that when you started to draw the wedges that you started going down to the lower time frames and you see the wedges all over the place and you're like, oh yeah, there's a wedge?
Yep.
Yeah, because it's like a curse, really.
Yeah, like even right now, what we're looking at on your chart, there are all kinds of tiny little wedges within the big
little
one.
Wedge here, a break. You got a wedge here and a break. You got a little tiny wedge here and a break. You got a wedge here and a break. So it's interesting to see how many wedges there are, because it's always going to be the consolidation. So there's like wedge here, and then going to be a wedge here, and then another wedge here, and another wedge here.
I'd be curious to know if the guys in the if you can put in the chat.
Yeah,
a lot of you have been coming in here quite often, like practically daily for weeks now. Are you able to see them the same way? Have you been cursed with the wedge site yet?
Yeah, I know, the wedge site. I think we might use that. You'll see them all over the place. So, guys, it's actually, I think I'm just going to open up everyone's mic for the heck of it, because it's open mic Friday. So I think we're gonna do that. Hold on, I'm gonna open everyone up. Don't all talk at once, huh?
Janara typed in that he's also starting to see wedges everywhere.
Yeah, I saw that. All right. So you guys can all talk now. Just note that this is all being recorded, so anything you say can or what was that? Can be used against you in a court of law?
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding.
That's right. Yeah, listen to them clamoring to talk all over each other, huh?
Uh-huh. You have to unmute yourself. I can't unmute your mic, but I can allow you to talk if you want. So here we go. We're looking at the top there. You see how it breached that trend line?
Yep.
Yeah. So that is considered a breach to me because you're bounce, 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 and then it passes it, it checks it. So we're gonna see what happens here. I would not be surprised to see this thing plummet, just absolutely melt. But
What do you think it might? You think it might go short?
yeah, maybe. It's just it's working really hard to come up, and it's not
From a
kind of coming.
restraint.
Yeah, but we're gonna find out pretty soon because something's gonna happen. It's not gonna sit like this forever because at 8:30 we'll probably get a very nice move just before pre-market.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the fun part of trading. You get to sit around and watch lines go up and down. Look for the optimal setup. The worst thing you can do is get in early and then end up regretting it because you're going to lose an extra 2 or 3 pips. If the setup's not there, don't pull the trigger. That's what I've been learning over the last little bit. So setup is not going to be there. It's not worth pulling the trigger. These little green bars, they're interesting. They're actually 7 pips apart. So I can visually see where the 7 pip target is if I enter it.
Well, that works out.
And yeah, you can get that on, and you can adjust it with one of our indicators there. You can get the
Okay. It's on
the
the
goal
end.
lines. I can put it 14 pips if I wish, if my keyboard's going to work properly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so now I can switch it to 14. I can say, all right, cool, we got 14. So yeah, we just added a whole bunch of things to our programmer. Just asked for a whole bunch of ideas, and then we just make it into one indicator so that people can use the free version of TradingView and benefit from multiple indicators at once. Not have to buy the more expensive version of TradingView because, you know, when you're starting off, the biggest challenge with the why did I switch? Okay, hold on. While we're waiting, I have an alert on it, so let's go do some more wedges. How about that? So let's go have some fun drawing stuff here. So we got this one. That looks like a breach, and I don't like it, so I'm gonna have to go down here. And then maybe down here. No. We'll see. We'll see what happens on this one. So we had an alert on UJ, and it was like really early in the morning.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even
it's probably here. You can see the I'll use the triangle pattern just to show you how that you can use that if it makes it a little bit easier for some people. You can go here and
actually, Matt,
yeah.
I'm just looking at the alerts. We had another Euro US descending this time at 8:15.
Oh,
we've also had an Aussie US at 8. My phone wasn't pinging me, so
yeah, neither was mine.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but anyway,
that's not cool. All right, so you said there was another alert on your
on the Euro. Yeah, it was a descending wedge at 8:15.
At 8:15. All right. So let's clean this up a little bit because we already We're just sitting here on our hands waiting for the nice setup. Descending. Oh,
Mhm.
well, that's kind of what
It's
I
kind
kind
of,
of drew. Hold on.
I find when it does that, it has an ascending, and then not too long
Yep,
after, it's just because it's coiling up pretty tight in the original one.
exactly. You're totally right. It's exactly what's going on. Is you got basically you have your how to explain that? It's it's a correction, but it's a type of correction, and I don't know exactly what they call it. Maybe it's a complex correction or something like that. Anyway, there's a specific name for it. It just it means that basically there's a little bit more maybe indecision, or it could be a little bit more messy
Mhm.
when you have two wedge alerts or trade ideas at the same time, like within an hour of each other. That's
Could it possibly be for, you know how sometimes you'll get the alert and within an hour everything is done with it, like the
Mhm.
trade's gone through, it's all good, it's over. I'm thinking these ones that take longer to coil up this way before they break are usually the ones that end up having the opposite kind of alert, as in the case of this hero.
Yeah, it's pretty. She's pretty slow today.
Yeah.
Um, this might be it here. This is the 8:30,
Oh, there you go.
uh,
Yeah.
8:32. So I might take that long. Yeah, I think so. I think I like it long. And my stop loss is going to be very, very tight. It's not going to be even. It's actually just going to be underneath the one of the moving averages. If it breaks out of this,
Are you going to take it on the 15 minute? You're on the 15 minute.
oh yeah, that's a good point. No, I'm not taking it on the 15-minute.
That's so odd for you to take a 15 minute.
No, no, I am not. I love the 1 minute for specific reasons, and so I'm just waiting to see a little bit more gap between the 62 and the 13. So here's that pullback that was expected. I just need a lot more thrust, I guess. All right, there
Mhm.
we go. So Euro US. Now I got the alert on my phone. It said it's crossing, and to me, that's enough of a confirmation to pull the trigger on that. So because that trend line was, so you see how it bounced against the trend line and then came back down into the wedge and then broke. That's
Yeah.
a pretty strong sign that that is going to go, because it knows where the wedge is. It knows where that trend line is. And then you see your moving averages doing what they're doing.
Mhm.
Before momentum shifts to the downside, the 62 must cross the other moving averages again. It has to.
Matt,
Because,
could you just get your alert box off of the screen, please?
oh yeah, that's a good
Covering up
idea.
the playing field a little
I've
bit.
I've got a I've got a few too many screens sometimes, and
I know.
I'm
Yeah,
not
you're the
always
mad
watching.
scientist of screens.
Well, you know what? You need to have the right tools
Mhm.
to get the job done. And if that means paying $300 for monitors, if that means paying $50 a month for charts, $90 a month for subscription, um, then pay the price, because the barrier to entry on the forex is so inexpensive compared to anything else out there. I mean, people talk all the time about wanting to go into real estate. You know, many licenses and certifications and all the other stuff you need to get into real estate, or the cost of a lot of different things.
Yeah,
Or Forex has the lowest barrier to entry, and then people still complain about the cost. I'm
I
like,
know, right?
come on, guys, what you're learning a life skill. I'm 4 years deep into this, and yes, I was under the impression that I was going to be where I want to be a lot faster than I am now. But reality is, it's a process. Let's see if we get a head fake. Might get might come back down, challenge that trend line. My stop loss is going to be 1670. I'm just using that bottom line, and it will be. I'll be moving it, but I'm not going without a stop loss. I
Yeah.
got caught one morning one time, a couple weeks back. 100 the price moved 100 and some pips in a 1 minute candle.
Yeah, without a stop loss, that's not good.
No, it kind of hurt, and I was like, come on, Matt, you know better than that. You talk about it all the time, and you.
Yeah, sometimes we
So
just
this
get the
is
feeling that we're invincible, right? That we know what we're doing, and even though we're
well,
right, we
yeah.
still can't control the market. So
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We just put the odds on our side, and we try to do the best that we can. We stack the probabilities, and if it does not break to the upside like it's supposed to, then it will be coming down. But let's see. Let's see it bounce on that moving average. Let me see if I can adjust that a little bit more. Huh. It's off. You see why you don't want to have your trend lines off a little bit? So I set that trend line on the 15-minute chart, but I never went and adjusted it. Oh, it's crossing again. So that means it's coming down, but that's fine. Now I need to turn that alert off because it's going to drive me right to lunch. That's cool. It came in, tested, bounced off that trend line. Now you got a little bit bigger of a gap between. See how we tested that a little bit. Moving it a hair. Now you're going to get a little wedge here on the 1 minute chart. I'm going to get rid of this. Not always going to make it work, but sometimes it does. You're looking for wicks. See, this one was off by a little bit. You took another trade, or did you take it on the 5 minute?
for me,
Yeah.
oh, I took a trade, but not on the Euro US because it's not broken out of. I took it on. Sorry, the S&P. I should have my.
Oh, I get it. No, it's fine. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm the Euro Swiss is not doing anything. It's still sitting in the middle of, you know, the
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, not the Euro Swiss, the US Swiss, and the Euro US it's not meeting my criteria because of the way it came back and went back in through to the wedge. So I'm still waiting on it.
Perfect.
Just watching it.
Yeah. Let's see.
No,
I don't like that it's just meandering there on the
yeah.
on that upper line.
Might be waiting for the market to open to do something. I don't know.
Yeah, another. Well, at the 9 o'clock hour, there's usually some pretty good movement. So
That's true. That's true.
let's see.
I'm gonna have a look at the Aussie.
Yeah.
Let me have a look at the Aussie US since US Swiss isn't doing a whole lot of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like this. I like the gap that we have between the 1 minute 62 and the other moving averages up here, and now you have a rejection of the 13. So
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Well, it looks like the Aussie is just about on the move here. It's seems to have broken out of the top of the wedge on the 15.
Let's see. Oh, it's so close to breaking out. It's not even funny. So I can take this. Hey, let's throw some probabilities on here. How about that? So here to there. Oh, that's a short stick. Isn't that interesting? So that the width from the top of the wedge to the bottom of the wedge to the first hit was actually the exact width of this wedge here. Oh, let's put that
Wild,
back.
really.
Huh?
It's pretty wild if you think about it, you know, like it's
Yeah. And then you're using that. So let's see what goes on. It's moving pretty slow today. At least the Euro USD is.
the Aussie US isn't doing too bad. I'm actually ready to get into it, to be honest with you. It's moving pretty quick. Like no sooner did I draw it out. And
We had an alert on Aussie US.
we did at 8 o'clock. It came through at 8. This is one of the ones that didn't pop up on my phone. I had found it later.
Got it.
So it's been working for a while before we even knew it was here.
Nice.
I'm gonna.
So I like this bounce. One hit, two hit, 3, 4, 5. It bounced, and then you got that rejection wick, that scouter wick from the bottom. Now we broke out of the top of the wedge, and we remember the probabilities.
Oh boy.
And we're off to the races.
In?
Huh?
You're in?
Oh yeah, I've been in for a while.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah. So so I'm not looking for an insane amount of pips. I'll let you guys know when I exit. I've got another proprietary indicator, but I'm not permitted to share it. So kind of gives me pretty accurate exit, but let's see see it reach up here. See what's going to happen. That moving average is holding price. Let's see where the 62 is. Where's that? Oh. 30-minute 62. Where are you? Huh. Did I turn it off? Let's go see. I did turn it off. There it is. I like the probabilities of it tagging the 62. That 30-minute 62, it's so close. It's going to need some gas before it tags it, though. That's still like 10 pips away.
Sorry, I have Brian messaging me of all people. I haven't talked to Brian in ever.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, so I got into the Aussie.
Good.
Let me have a look at what it's doing. I got in on a buy.
Okay.
And I got in at 70589. And it's going up.
Oh yeah, that's a nice trade.
Yeah.
That's a really nice trade. We should have looked at that one. That's solid.
I know, but it's just going up. It just basically by the time I came over and drew out the wedge, it had already broken and was.
Yeah. No, that's a solid trade. The 513.62, the gap between it is very significant.
Yeah.
That would have been the trade for the week. That's awesome. Well done. Why did I get an alert on Euro USD? It said crossing trend line, but there's no trend line here.
No?
No, there's no trend line. Trend line's down here.
Okay.
My trend line's like 5 pips under price, so it doesn't make sense. Holy smokes. Yeah, we should have taken that trade. Look at that thing.
I know, it's just going like mad.
That's 30 pips in the last 20. Yeah, 20. 20 if you catch the break. So that's solid. At 10 at a 10 pip stop loss, you're looking at 2% in the 10 pips, you're looking at almost 4% of your trading account in that one trade. That's what most softwares will do in a week. And this is why you want to be manually trading.
Yeah, I'm out.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, I'm out. I grabbed myself 6 pips on that one. Pedro says he got in on the retracement. Did you get in on the Aussie, Pedro? Or are you talking about the Euro?
There was no retracement on the Aussie. It's just straight up.
Yeah, he
not even gonna.
Yeah.
All right, watch that 62, guys. It's coming up. I already hit my target officially, but there's no reason to exit the trade right now because there's too much momentum to the upside. Ah, yes. Okay. Now I see it. So what the Aussie just did, the Euro's going to do.
Is it?
Yeah.
Awesome. The Euro's still going. I should have stayed in it.
No, it's gonna at least hit the 62 before it does something. It's probably gonna consolidate there, and then you might get a turnaround. But I am satisfied with that trade right now. It's good.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look what it's doing. It looks
awesome. It's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Aussie is still going. It did a good 10 pips.
It's gonna keep on going until it starts basing, and then it starts. See, this is the candle I'm exiting on. When I see it pull back and it's almost at that target, I'm
Yeah.
gonna let it erode very little and I'm exit.
And then you
And
bail.
if it keeps on going up, then who cares? I've already got the pips I wanted.
Exactly. And that's the main thing, right? You
Right.
know, too many people say, oh, I should have stayed in it and gotten more. And I
Like,
just did the
forget
same.
it, man. You don't. It doesn't matter what um like what it does after. The point is, did you
Yeah,
put pips in the bank? Did you put money in your trading account? Did
exactly.
you like trade your plan
And hit your target.
and get your target? And that's game over.
That's it.
You don't have to hit a home run every time. If you try to hit a home run every time, you're not going to hit the home run and you're going to miss.
That's right.
Sometimes you just need to bunt the ball to get people on base. That's
Good
all.
analogy. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone wants to say, oh, yeah, I got like 20, 30 pips on this trade. I'm like, you know what? What's your stop loss? Are you actually using 50 pip stop loss, a 20 pip stop loss? Very rarely will I ever use anything over 10 pips. Very rarely.
For a stop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen. Usually it's about 5 pips. This trade was 5 pips.
Yeah.
This is actually just a pullback. So there might be another entry later on today before market closes. There might be another buy in here. But there's definitely no, I'm not taking a sell. But I don't want to be in that kind of consolidation. I'd just rather let it do its thing.
Yep. Yep.
Because we're coming up to the 9 o'clock hour. And as we've seen historically, 9 o'clock hour, we get a really nice boost in one direction or another. But like I said, the 62 is just like glue. It's like a magnet. It just pulls price right to it. 30-minute. Now that you have this gap, let's see if we can drop a little bit more. Sharpen that up a bit. All right. So you see this gap here is kind of widening. As it widens, that means there's more and more momentum to the upside. Because before price turns around, this line needs to come down. So if I did white or sky blue, whatever, we just went, it needs to come down. It needs to cross this, and then price is going to start coming down. But it's not going to do that until this line crosses this. Until price crosses the 62, the momentum hasn't shifted. And that works on 1 minute, 5, 15, 30. Momentum's still down overall. So if I was to show you what I mean from a higher time frame perspective, because I'm out of this trade and I'm happy. Let's go look. You see that target, the 62? Almost always when it's coming up like that, it's going to hit it. So you see how price stayed under the 62?
Mm-hmm.
Under the 62. Well, here's where you had the consolidation. And then you had a big fat wedge. Like this is as juicy as you can get. And then you had the break. Yep. Then you had the cross. And then 62 stays on top of price, so it pushes it down. Pushes it down, pushes it down. Boom. It tags it to the pip on the 62. To the pip.
Pretty cool.
Not random.
Yeah.
And then boom. We're gone. Then we're going to get some kind of correction here, some kind of little flag pattern eventually. But we're coming right up to the 9 o'clock hour. And I will let you know if I eventually Maybe take it short. Maybe it's maybe just this is just the end of this this run. So let's see.
Actually,
What was the
Hindle,
original target? What did Hindle say?
he said plan a trade and trade a plan.
Yeah.
So, right on.
So here's the stick, guys. That's the stick from the break. So I didn't want to erode anything. I just wanted pips in the bank. It made me happy. Look at the stick, guys. You think it's random? And we are hit the target. That's as good as it gets, guys. It doesn't it honestly doesn't get that much better.
That's one big candle.
Yeah. But why was it such a big candle? Because it was the impulsive break. It was the break of the wedge. And because we could get in on a 1 minute, we don't have to wait for this 15-minute candle to close before we get in the trade. We don't need to erode all these pips.
Leslie, you're hilarious. She says, I took 8.5 pips on the Euro US. Makes me wish I hadn't put myself into demo jail. Demo's good. I'm in demo too. Demo's
Yeah,
good.
you don't worry about demo, not demo, whatever. Um,
Get consistent,
observe,
bro.
observe, 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 observe. See what happens. See what happens. Watch it, watch it. Just observe. The best learners are the ones who are observing things and doing things. A lot of people talk a lot about Jackie, and Jackie, she's just brilliant, really good friend of mine. And she took what we said in one of our sessions to heart, literally. She went back and she drew 1,500 wedges. You want to know why she's successful? Because she found out what not to do and how not to trade wedges by going back and drawing 1,500 in like, I think she took like 2 weeks. She went back and she drew every one of them that she would have potentially traded during that time.
Yeah.
And she knew what not to do. And that's how you're going to have success in the Forex, is learning what not to do, observing what doesn't work, so that so you don't get lucky. You don't want to get lucky. Everyone's like, oh, you got so lucky. I'm like, no, you don't want to be lucky, because if you're lucky, then you're going to think you know what you're doing, but you don't, and you're going to get hurt. So you don't want to be lucky. You want to know exactly what's going on. You want to be able to take the trade and say, hey, I've got a target. If it goes further, who cares? Really? Like, what's this? This is like 50 pips from the break, almost. Let me see. Maybe 35. I don't know. I can't really tell. So it seems bigger than that. So it's 25. So it was a 25 pip break. That was about the width of the wedge. To me, I just wanted half of that because that's what I wanted for my consistency. I didn't want the biggest run. And 9 o'clock. Let's see what's going to happen. We're going to start having some kind of consolidation in here. That's the end of that candle. So remember what I said about the 62. It's going to come back down. It's going to tag the 62. It will. Because that will mean that it's a retracement from that original move. So from the original move to, let's do a little bit of Fibbo to honor my good friend that is not here right now. I don't do a lot of Fibbo work, but check this out. Observe. What's sitting at 38.2? And then, actually, I'll turn off some of these lines just so we don't have too much going on. I don't need this one. I don't need this one and this one and this one. 23, 6, 14, 1. There. This will make it easier. Is it just random that the 38-2 retracement happens to sit on the same line that the 30-minute 62 is sitting on? The odds that it comes back down and tags it and then does something else are very, very high. And actually, if it tags that, I might enter again. Let's see. Got a 2-hour warning. Gearbox call happening in 2 hours at 11 o'clock.
Hey Matt, this is Janine. Got a question for you.
How's it going?
It's going. Got a question for you now that that little alert on Gearbox came up.
Yeah.
So I haven't been really watching a lot of the, webinars or anything.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere in the back office that says for affiliates, like if they want to switch from one software to another, like if I wanted to get Gearbox, but I already have Alexander,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to, and I remember hearing something that you could switch in between,
You sure
software
can.
or whatever. Is there somewhere, or
Isn't
a
it the
recording
marketplace?
office?
Isn't it the marketplace?
Yeah. But you need, so there's one word of caution. So make sure that you don't have any open trades.
Yeah, I remember hearing that or reading it.
Because if you do have open trades, Gearbox is not going to manage them.
Right.
You're just going to be stuck with whatever take profit and stop loss that Alexander put in your place. So,
right.
um,
Because I was looking at where it says, I think marketplace or whatever.
yeah,
and it's
convert
making
to
me,
marketplace.
Yeah, but it's making me want to purchase more monthly subscriptions.
Okay. Yeah, let's figure that out offline.
I just didn't know if you knew like a date I could kind of scroll around.
Oh, well, I know people have converted now.
I've converted.
Yeah.
You can only subscribe to just one, Janine, if you get the bronze package. You don't have to do the silver, which wants to give you more. You choose which level you want. It's not mandatory that you have more than one. So we can look at that another time, like in 888 or something.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
we can. We'll figure that out for sure. And we'll get you all ironed out.
Okay, sounds good.
My gearbox has been performing very nicely for the last couple months. I've been on the beta team, just testing it out and finding any opportunities there are, and it's been a real game changer. Let's just say that it's not to over. There's no hype in this. It's just I just care about what works.
Right.
I don't care about how fancy it is, how much it costs, any of that. All I care about, does it work? Does it actually make you money? Great. Then I'll promote it. Whatever works. That's why I love AIRIS.
Yeah.
Does it work? Yes. You making money? Yes. Then I'm going to promote it and I'll support it. But I'm not going to teach something that I don't trade. I'm not going to promote something that I don't use. And Gearbox is a big deal. Gearbox with different settings, you can have it very aggressive or you can have it ultra conservative. And I'm talking about making some money on conservative. Like I think my results over the last little bit were almost 30% in the course of the last couple months with 5% drawdown. So not going to make you rich overnight, but that's not what I'm expecting the software to do. If I want to push my manual trading to a next level, then I'm going to do it manually. I'm going to learn how to trade these markets, and I'm going to push it as hard as I can. But I'm not going to push the software as hard as I can because I've seen what that software can do. Can't disclose it, but I know what that software can do if you want to push it. Will it be sustainable? No, but you can push the software. But I find it easier to push the manual trading because that way, you know, you're learning a life skill. It's gonna take time. So here's that correction. Here we got a little wedge forming. The reason I made it flat is because anytime this is just my own observations, that was a really shallow retracement. That wasn't even 38.2. So it could still come down a bit. But anytime I've seen a move up, I've seen consolidation and then potentially go up a bit higher. So let's see what we have on the strength meters, the RCS. So remember, send us an email at Hawkeye at AuvoriaPrime.com, and we will figure out how to get you the indicators that you see on my screen. The RCS, the Fibo price. I forgot what it's called. FRPR, FPRP, whatever.
Yeah, the fib lines.
Fibbo lines tool. Fibbo lines tool. Anyway, so that's the target. See, we got a green line. No, that's my indicator.
So if anybody's interested, the US Swiss completely broke down the bottom.
Oh yeah, right. Fell out, eh?
Because it's going down 14 pips nonstop. Nice.
But me, I can get really excited and kind of take too many trades. And that's the last thing you want to be doing. You know, you don't want to be in too many trades and try to manage them. I've done it before, but it's too hard on the head. Like I was in 3 trades one time. I won all of them, but I had a headache after that because it's just too much. There's only certain things that your senses can handle. Hey, look, 1.17. So we're at a round number, and it's probably gonna bounce here, consolidate all day. Because that's a really important level, you know. 1.17. And then maybe next week it might break down. Who knows? But for at the cross here, that's a pretty big deal. Let's see. You see the gap? As I said, the gap, you're going to want price to separate from the 62. That means momentum is onto the upside because it's going to push it up. Now that you slice through the 30-minute 62 like it did, it never even came back and challenged it, which is surprising to me. Yeah, the Aussie moved 0.5% today since overnight session. So it's been moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aussie's been moving. Make a visual representation. I just want you guys to notice this, and that might help. So 5, 13, 62 are exponential moving averages. They're really specific, and they're let's just say they're not random. I guess that's the best way to explain it. And then we're gonna go So here, you're going to look for that to separate. And as it separates and as it gets more distance, then that means the strength is there. So when I had this was a pretty clear sign. When I had this was a very clear sign to take the trade. When I had that break here and I had it retest here, boom. That is your epitome of wedge trading. You're basically looking for trend line bounces. And the only aspect of wedges that I really watch more than anything is the probabilities in the wedges. So here you can tell my trend line's no good because I breached the bottom of it. So I gotta adjust it again. And then this one, I'm gonna adjust down. There's no problem adjusting your trend lines. You're gonna wait for a break. This is the consolidation stuff I didn't want to be stuck in. But I'll take 10 pips any day of the week. People don't realize that just 10 pips a day, you put 1% into your trading account, it doesn't matter what you start with, just consistency. If you can do the same thing, the boring, I just saw your post there, Pedro. Give me a sec. Your channels are a little bit wide, but I like the trend line and the breach on Euro US. Your lines are a 15-minute chart, so I'll add an alert on this trend line. I don't like the bottom trend line. I like the top one. You see the bigger wick, and then you're down to the 13-minute EMA. So let's go have some fun. Sorry for the people who have bad vision. This is actually a big consolidation move. So let me go to a higher time frame. That won't be fair. Let's go 4 hour. How about that? Too big. Just trying to see if we can have an idea of where this could go. Right here. That's a nice pitchfork. I'm just doing something as I'm waiting for the market open. Maybe we'll have another setup. I don't know. So I'm going to start by swinging it down. That is pretty solid. So let's go see. Off by a little bit. So now basically pitchforks are just trend lines on steroids. This is so cool. Let me go put this here. Missed it by a hair. Okay. So these just look like random trend lines. I'm going to drop this down to a 30-minute chart and I'm going to adjust it because I want to show you how powerful trend lines are. If I adjust it on the 30-minute, I think I'll get what I want. See this? This is not, you need to be on the wick. And up here, that was fine. And then We'll go back out. Man, oh man. All right, so I will show you what I'm looking at here. There's a lot of data here. Let's go down to the lower time frame. Check this out. Where did price bounce, guys? Where did price just randomly decide to stop going up? This green line is from my pitchfork that I drew way the heck over there, like it's probably, I don't even know when this line comes from, but bottom line is this: you got to the pip, to the pip, to the pip, and then you got a wedge. See, you got a wedge here, and you got a break. Look at that, to the pip on this one. And then, boom, tags it, breaks it, kind of does some funky business, breaks, doesn't quite make it down here. But then decides to come back and challenge this line and say, hey, so what's going on? See that decisive break to the downside? Boom, 62. 30-minute 62 is the blue. It's either going to hit the 30-minute 62 or the 1-minute 62. 1-minute 62 is the white one. This one is the blue one. It's probably going to tag both of them. But Pedro, I think you're right on point, man. I think I really like the one that you shared. That was really good. Oh yeah, this is the pullback here. This is the retracement. So if I get a bounce on the 62, I might take that trade. It's too high probability not to. This is the 1-minute chart. And we have a lot of strength to the US on the 1-minute, but that's expected because you're in a pullback. And I think US is blue. So Euro blue or US blue? Let me see.
US is blue.
US is blue, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. This is still just a pullback. Remember we did some Fibo work and it didn't look like it made a lot of sense yet. Let's go take a look at from the origination of the move till about 38.2. Huh. Isn't that random? 38.2 is right where the 62 is. And now you got a cross, right? You got the cross. That means momentum is now shifted to the downside. But now we're waiting for the 1-minute 62. It's probably just going to reject price. If it bounces off of this 1-minute 62, and these two moving averages come down and do not cross the 1-minute 62, it just kind of does this, just something like this. Hold on. If it just does something like this, comes down and bounces. And then this one could come down and bounces. And then this one comes here and stays here. Then this is a very strong buy. So we'll see what happens. But we're just setting it up, right? We're not taking nothing yet. We already got pips in the bank. Well, for most of us. You see how price loves to interact with this 62? It just tags it, bounces, tags it. Here, for the fun of it, because we like having fun here. See the stick? Where's the break? Where's the stick? Right here. Boom. Remember 75% chance that it gets to the stick? It worked again. It worked multiple times. 75% chance, 80% that it's going to get to that stick. So you draw your wedge, you draw the stick, you sit that as a target, and you understand that if it goes to the stick, then great. If it doesn't, then you can probably find another another exit point, but the stick is going to be bigger than your 10 pip target usually, depending on what size your wedge is. Let's see if we can find a trend line at the bottom. How about that? Let's drop this one. Yes. And let's drop this one. And now let's find ourselves this is too powerful. So these 30-minute wicks are very, very powerful. That holds a lot of weight. A 30-minute wick is more powerful than this is interesting. Okay. Is more powerful than a 5-minute or a 1-minute wick. It's going to hold more weight over time. I don't really like this trend line, but I got 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, and then that's where it kind of rejected. So that might work. This is a really big. Let's see what happens here. Coming up to 7 minutes before market opens. Hey, everyone stayed. It's been good.
He sounds surprised.
No, it's a Friday. It's a Friday. It's just because oh yeah, it snowed. It's -3 here today.
Snow?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's miserable. Anyway. Yeah, let's see here. I think it's going to go short and follow the main trend, which is bearish trend. And what are my thoughts? Well, to be honest, I don't do predictions because I don't want to get my head into that mindset of, oh, I'm going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. Or I just react to where price is, and I try to go to the lower time frames. So if I was to do anything to talk about higher time frames, then I would say, everyone says, oh, it's going to go bearish or whatnot, but what time frame are they talking about? Are they talking about the daily or the weekly or the hourly? Overall, this could be the end of the trend. On a daily chart, we've got a little bit of divergence, a little bit of things that are showing that it could continue to the upside or it could continue down. It's just all. That's why I don't like going to the higher time frames. My head is just not designed to figure that out. Because right now, the next low is at 1.1610. That's the next low that it might challenge. But I don't like saying that, because that's from like September 25th. I don't like doing those zones.
I think too, Pedro, is you can't just base it on any one thing. That would just be another probability that you have to take into consideration when you're analyzing everything else. I mean, you can't base it just on that because it's a main trend. You have to look and see. And like Matt was saying, it depends on what chart. Like, what are you going to do? Like a swing trade? Are you doing it like on a 1 minute? Or,
Yeah, because if we're doing here, everyone, oh, we're gonna step on some toes. All right, so what happens is a lot of people talk about strength and resistance and whatnot. Not strength and resistance, support and resistance.
we know what you meant.
Support and resistance. Okay, and they say, oh yeah, and this is the first thing they teach you when you start messing around with the forex. Is the random teacher will go in and some educator will say, oh yeah, let's go and do some support and resistance, and I'm going to teach you how to trade on the 4-hour chart. And then they're like, okay, let's draw a box, just because this is the end and this is my soapbox. Okay, got it.
Got 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes. 3 minutes to get off my soapbox. Here. Okay, this is the zone, and then we're gonna look for maybe this zone down here, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna say, okay, if it breaks out of this zone, then we take a sell. If we take a, like, great. Okay, that's how you want to trade. Go right ahead and trade it. You know what this zone? This zone is actually 50 some pips. This reversal zone, that's not good. I don't want to be playing with a 50 pip potential reversal zone. If I'm trading on the 15-minute level, the 4-hour support and resistance means nothing to me. Doesn't matter to me, because all I'm doing is I'm using the probabilities from the wedge to override any of this potential headache of a setup. So here, look, you've got your moving averages coming down. It's gonna, looks like it might cross the 1 minute 62. But do you see how, if you're trading on the 15-minute and the 30-minute, your 4-hour potential support and resistance areas, because sometimes it'll slice right through those zones like a hot knife through butter, and you'll be caught with your pants down. And that's why I don't mess around with that kind of analysis too much. I'll just do wedges, and as you've seen multiple times in today's session, I just take the stick and put the stick. I draw the stick and I put the stick, and I'll just do that all day. Is it boring? Yes. Is it monotonous? Yes. But is it putting money in the bank? Yes. It's gonna allow people to have that kind of consistency, where if it breaks, oh, that's a really deep retracement there, guys.
Pedro says, I understand. Thanks. Makes sense.
Look at that. 61.8. 50, 61.8 retracement of that entire move. Yeah, Pedro, I hope I wasn't rough or nothing. It's just I've seen so many people that want to teach other people how to draw those boxes and stuff, and nothing against boxes, but the concept of 4 hours support and resistance is just so useless for someone that has a small account. How big is your stop loss going to have to be for you to take a 4-hour trade? from what I've seen on a lot of other people, it's going to be anywhere from 50 to 50 in the small end. Okay. I don't know many swing traders that are taking a 4-hour trade with a 50 pip stop loss. Usually it's like 200, 150 pips. Okay. But if I tell you that I just made more by taking 10 pips, putting 2% of my account in a 10 pip stop loss and taking the break of the wedge, I made more than what they would make if they put 2% into 150 pip stop loss, and their trade has to go 150 pips before they make 2%. So I can make almost 15 times more money, or I can take 15 times less trades than they can. And this is why wedges and AIRIS are the absolute best things in sliced bread, because most of the time you can get your pips in a very short amount of time. My money management, my plan was just to take that target. It went much further than the other one. Oh, Larry, no, you're fine. You know what? Let's put it this way. It's okay to be lost as long as you're lost in the right direction. As long as you're going and you're growing and you're observing and you're seeing things and you're expanding your knowledge base. All I can say is a lot of people want to demo and try to win, but they never give themselves the opportunity to observe and watch and learn what not to do. And that is the key. And that's what one of my mentors has been telling me for years is you need to learn what not to do so that you know what to do so you don't get lucky. You don't want to get lucky. That's the worst thing that can happen to you as a trader is you get lucky, because then your ego comes in place and you think you know what you're doing and you don't, because it's a life skill and you need to be patient with yourself. So with that all said, we're going to lock it down. This is Friday and it's the end of the month. So it's been a good month. It's been a good challenge. Stay up to date in Auvoria Prime. A lot of new and interesting things are going on. This marketplace rollout has been challenging of a rollout. But anything of this magnitude is going to have hiccups along the way. So I look forward to the new adventures with Auvoria Prime. And I want to see you guys here on Monday, bright and early. And potentially Al will have his everything set up and ready to go again. But thank you for carving out time out of your day. And I wish you nothing but the best this weekend. And we'll catch you around.
Hey, everybody. Have a great weekend.
All right. See you all around.